What in the world just happened? Chapter 1049. Is this the end? Let's talk about it. Hello, One Piece nerds. I'm not gonna do an intro, just get on with it. Okay, let's go from top to bottom. So the clash, what we would presume to be the final clash, has happened. The final clash is there, and well, Kaido, we're finally going into the Kaido flashback. This is something we've wanted for a long, long time. We were expecting when it would happen, and we finally got it. We finally got the Kaido flashback that we always wanted. And this, for me, solidifies Kaido as the best antagonist that we've seen in One Piece so far. I have not seen a better antagonist than he is. I'm going to make a separate video on him, especially tributing him. And a lot of people just don't understand the depth of Kaido's character. Everything he's done so far, we've been collecting dots ever since he mentioned Joy Boy. And ever since we knew that Kaido knows a lot about Joy Boy, we were making the connections that he knows a lot more than we think we do. And I think his character depth is a lot more interesting than what we initially thought it would be. Moving on to the Kaido flashback, okay, I'm gonna calm my nerves and let's just jump on with it. I have too much to talk about. Flashback starts 46 years ago in the Kingdom of Vodka, which is very suiting considering Kaido likes sake. And I think that's his reason for being an alcohol addict, maybe, some sort of metaphor, maybe something like that. So apparently the kingdom sold Kaido off so that they would be the part of the reverie and would be a part of the world government, and they'd get more facilities that, they'd get a little bit of money here and there, and they'd be able to stabilize. Although Kaido has been used for war because that's the only source of income they have, I think it's more profitable that, the kingdom sells off probably one of the most dangerous criminals alive to the world government so that, there would be peace and they wouldn't have to go into war anymore, but they'd get some sort of a benefit from that. And Kaido being an Oni and everything, he didn't have the devil fruit back then, but he was definitely strong. He was one of the kingdom's best fighters, and the world government definitely took an interest. And, well, that just, sort of solidifies the start. About the fact that he hates Celestial Dragons. Only reason he wanted to go into Marineford is to mess the world government up so that the Celestial Dragons would be, sort of defeated in some way, or would be in trouble. And I think that's one of the reasons why he might have, wanted to go to Marineford. To assist Whitebeard, maybe. And Shanks probably didn't want that, because Shanks has very different motives. I will also be coming up with a video because, with Shanks as well, because we've got a 1 week break and I've got contents to pop out. So, moving on, Kaido escapes with, I would say, an ease, and gets a bounty of 70 million berries. 70 million berries at the age of 15. This is very close to Robin, of course, but Robin wasn't known for her, fighting skills. She was more known for her knowledge of the Void Century and everything. She knows how to read poneglyphs. This is still a very high of a bounty for someone who's just, 12 years old, approximately. We then see he goes to Hachinosu to meet Rox, and well, he is formidable, he's strong. Rox takes him in, and we see immediately the flashback of God Valley. I was expecting a little bit more. I would see Kaido escaping from God Valley, maybe. We'd get something of that sort, but maybe it's for later. Maybe Oda has planned, some other character to sort of showcase what actually happened in the God Valley arc, or whatever, the God Valley incident. And, well, here, the Marines hint that there is no way that Garp himself would be able to be the Rox pirates because they're formidable. They're very strong. They're one of the strongest pirate crews alive at that time. And Rox being Rox is probably the god of the seas or something. He was known to be the strongest pirate alive at that point, and it's very, uncalled for that Marines would believe that Garp, by himself, with a bunch of Navy soldiers, would beat him. And they don't mention Sengoku, which likely suggests that Sengoku definitely wasn't there. We know Roger was there. We know that they didn't let the world know that Roger actually helped Garp to do it. But I think this sort of hints at some of the members going against Rox. I would say specifically Whitebeard who would go up against them, because Whitebeard wasn't actually a fan of whatever Rocks did. From what we've seen, from what we've seen of his character, from his beginning to his end, it goes to show that maybe Whitebeard wasn't fond of his captain, and he would turn his back on him if need be. And I think he found the perfect opportunity. Now, am I thinking that Kaido betrayed Rocks? That is also likely, but I wouldn't think so. Considering Kaido has been taken in by Rocks, he was just, 15 years old. He had a bounty over his head, the Marines were looking for him, and for him to get sheltered by Rocks the same way Ace was sheltered by Whitebeard, and, well, I would say Kaido had a lot of respect for Rocks. Maybe he didn't, maybe he did, but from what it seems, Kaido's not the kind of person who would betray the captain that, he sort of, looked up to or something. Maybe he hated him, but from the looks of it, there's no such hints. And moving on, we see Kaido now probably in Wano, talking to the old lady that had the, if I remember correctly, she had the Bonchan's fruit. I cannot remember the name of it. Like, seriously, I am so bad with names. She had the fruit that Bonchan has at this point, most likely, I hope so. And we see that the old hag was always there, and now we also see King and Kaido. We don't see Queen or Jack, which probably means that Kaido finally, started, sort of conquering territories with his flag. We see his flag as well. And I think the Beast Pirates were formed back then, and he's definitely now in Wano. Which, okay, fine. It's not, something unbelievable. I think he's been plotting this for a while, and he's definitely in Wano because he talks about Oden and Yamato. Yamato at that point is definitely born, and Yamato, for some reason, I think from the looks of it, at this point, Oden has been killed. And we see Yamato talk about Joy Boy, which means Oden definitely knew about Joy Boy, and that's how Kaido got to know about him as well. Maybe he knew Joy Boy beforehand with, traveling through the Grand Line with Rocks and everything, the New World, seeing poneglyphs. Maybe there was someone there who could read poneglyphs, but from what it seems, the flashback with King and Kaido, where he talks about Joy Boy, is after Oden's death and after everything's been sorted out, and Yamato got Oden's journal and everything. So I think it's at that point. And they also speculate the fact that Oden wanted to open up Wano in order to welcome Joy Boy, so that, he would bring peace to the world. And, well, it was a very good hypothesis. In my opinion, it's a very good hypothesis. He was definitely on point, and, well, this is just great. But then we see a very surprising panel. This really surprised me. I didn't expect the last CP0 officer to be running off like this. I think he's using Skywalk to get away from Onigashima because he knew that Onigashima was going to be destroyed. He's the last remaining survivor out of the 3 from the CP0, and I think he's going back to tell the world government about it. Now my point, I think I will still stand clear with my point about the fact that the world government will definitely come and involve themselves with Wano in one way, shape, or form after Kaido is defeated. And this sort of solidifies it. If there is a government agent that gets out of Onigashima, knows everything about what's been happening, to tell the world government about it, I think they're bound to take action. Buster calls won't do, but there has to be something bigger than a buster call to bring down Luffy and everyone else. And finally, we see the fire conflict being resolved. It's been 3-4 chapters we've been seeing reactions, and it's about time that the fire conflict gets solved. Orochi, in my opinion, is finally finished because Denjiro talks about waiting for 20 years and everything. We don't see Orochi rise up anymore. I think this is over. I think this was the role only planned for Denjiro. Maybe he did something on the sidelines. You don't expect him to do nothing. other than search for Hiyori and Orochi for the past 30 chapters. Maybe he did something else. But I think this is the end of Orochi. This is the conflict resolving for the fire. And now the water has spread everywhere. We've thanked Zou. And finally Momonosuke is able to move Onigashima. And now it's the time to end the fight. Kaido asks, "What kind of world do you wish to make, Straw Hat?" This is beautiful. For someone who's been wanting to see Joy Boy ever since he entered Wano, to be finally seeing a candidate for Joy Boy. A legitimate candidate, not some random nobody. Whose will has been broken. He's been trying to break Luffy's will ever since he entered Wano. And we finally see, someone, a worthy candidate who is able to defeat Kaido, go up against him and ask him the exact wish that he's been asking himself. What kind of world would you want to build? I think that solidifies Kaido's character. From someone who hates the Celestial Dragons, to not understanding why the kingdom or the world follows the world government. I think this is perfect for someone who is wishing for Joy Boy to rescue him and to rescue the world. To rescue everyone he saw from the world government, from the terror of the world government. And it is just beautiful. It is just beautiful, and I could not have asked for a better ending dialogue. And Luffy follows it up with a very Luffy-esque dialogue. "I want a world where my friends can eat as much as they want." That is very themed specific. Luffy always being in the moment. Luffy could have talked about being the freest man in the world, but all he cares about now is that everyone can eat. Which I think metaphorically says that he wants to create a world where there is complete freedom. There is no restriction of money or slavery or anything like that. There would be no oppression. There would be no boundaries as to how much people can do. And that, I think, embodies Luffy's freedom. That, I think, encompasses Luffy's freedom altogether and says it in a very Luffy-esque comedic sort of way. At first glance, I thought it was in the moment that Luffy's seen Tama suffer so much from not being able to drink clean water, not being able to get proper food, that he talks about it. But now that I think about it, I think that dialogue of, "I want a world where my friends can eat as much as they want," is a metaphor, a symbolic metaphor for the fact that he just wants to say that his friends can do whatever they want to do. And whether it be eat as much as they want, roam around as much as they want, live as much as they want to, and make their dream come true. I think it all encompasses that and just finishes off with Kaido saying that Joy Boy, it will be the person who will be able to defeat me. Naxtaku made a video on this. I've been saying this on a lot of pages as well. I haven't been able to bring out a video because of me being so lazy. And it confirms that Kaido was looking for Joy Boy all this time. He wanted Joy Boy to be the person to beat him, not anyone else. He didn't want to be defeated. He just wanted someone who'd be Joy Boy to save the world, to save himself from the sufferings of the world government. And Kaido doesn't fall into the sea. He falls into land, a little outside the flower capital, and that is the end of the chapter. We see the lanterns saying that, "Please vanquish the scary dragon, restore the Kozuki clan." Momonosuke finally being able to control the flame clouds, Hiyori finally defeating Orochi. I think that restores the Kozuki clan, and Luffy defeating Kaido finally makes a wish of vanquishing the big scary dragon come true. The lanterns played the role that they were supposed to. I guess Ghost Beast wasn't really meant to be. I'm not saying that Ghost Beast will not play a role in the future, within the next few chapters, but I think what Oda wanted to state about the fact of Ghost Beast is the fact that the ghosts won't really come back and say something to them, but rather it's always been inherited will. Inherited will has always played a role in One Piece, and he wanted to solidify it again by telling us that even though the wishes are going to the people that are dead, the wish will be granted by people of the present who will inherit their will, who will inherit the will of everyone around them, inherit the will of the dead, inherit the will of the oppression of the people who are oppressed, and will make their wish come true. And that is a perfect ending to Kaido the Beast. Thank you all so much for watching. I have a lot more to say about this. I'm not gonna fit everything in one video and talk about it for the next 1 hour. I'm gonna pump out more content, I promise. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed until this point, please make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.